They're doing an $80 million, 100% expansion, all within the city. So that's underway. Bureau Veritas, Stephen Trilogy's been involved and what have you. So again, just keeping council updated more than anything to let you know that that's started going and being checked. On item 27, we received the $350,000 Texas Community Development Block Grant, Alta Vista Environmental Record Review, and we passed. So again, just to let you know, because they go back and check on what you did, your paperwork, your records on spending the money and that sort of thing, and we passed that review. Item 28.
Item 28 will be postponed to the next agenda.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of item 28 going to the next agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 29, discuss ordinance on the agenda for city council meetings. Councilman Wallace.
Yeah, so I know a couple council meetings ago, we talked about, we passed in the ordinance for the agenda. And so one of the things that were specified in it was that we would get the city council packets on that Wednesday, so that we would have time to review them, ask the questions necessary, so we can get out of these meetings a bit earlier. And so, yeah, we could. Yeah, so, this is just a reminder that we did pass that ordinance. I'm trying to find specifically where it is in here. For the, all right, right
Y'all
here.
don't want us to get the packet and then talk about it, right?
No, we can't talk
Oh,
about it.
that's what I thought you said.
Let's see, because it says, okay. So any city council member may directly place an item reasonably related to the business operation of the city on a regular city council meeting agenda by providing a written submission to the city secretary along with all backup materials by 5 p.m. on the Monday prior to the city council meeting on which they wish the item to appear. Let's see. So that's for us. And then let's see. What does it say for us? Alright, and so city council packet, this is D. A city council packet shall be distributed to the mayor and the city council by 5 p.m. on the Wednesday prior to the city council meeting at which the item is to be considered. Distribution shall be by mail, as a hard copy is requested by a council member, in which case a hard copy shall be made available at the office of the secretary, city secretary. So this, in a summary, is basically saying that as council, we need to turn in our items and any subsequent information by the Monday at 5 p.m. so that we can receive our package by 5 p.m. because they shall be distributed by 5 p.m. on the Wednesday prior to the city council meeting.
Councilwoman Williams.
My question is, I have a couple. I mean, I don't know, that would be on Ms. Bynum, but I think, that would be a lot, because then we have to take in consideration holidays, we have to take in consideration people being off when the office is short of staff. So, did we leave some leeway in there for when the office is just not operating the way it needs to operate in order for this to happen? Because most of the packets, I think are emailed, some Ms. Bynum do, some Ms. Cortez do. But I also know there's been times when one or both of them have been out and the packet didn't come even email. So I'm just saying, are we putting too much? Are we asking for too much for it to be on a Wednesday
So,
versus?
Well,
The ordinance already
Yeah.
was approved and passed.
Councilman Randall.
We've already passed the ordinance, like, what is the discussion?
I'm just asking a question, but I'm sorry, y'all go ahead.
At this point, the ordinance already been passed, so, the only place we go from here is at that, whatever that Monday is, Ms. Bynum, whatever you don't have, if you get anything after that, it doesn't make the agenda.
Yeah, but so the
for
confusion, it's not as far as like whatever she's not receiving doesn't make the agenda, is that I think she's receiving our information by Monday, but we still not receiving the agenda by Friday, and correct me
By
if
Wednesday.
by Wednesday, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are able to have the agenda done by Wednesday, correct? or what is your process, or what, or why, or maybe a better question is, since we passed the ordinance,
You just
what
go.
has been the issue with us not receiving the agenda on Wednesday?
I put the items on the agenda that you send, that get carried over, and that's it, it goes to the mayor, it's no longer my agenda. So,
Yeah, so to me, it's like, the reason why we have the cutoff is so that the agenda comes on Wednesday, but as Councilman Randall said, it's already been passed. So the only thing we could do up to this point is to follow it, so this is put on the agenda for the reiteration that council, we gotta turn our stuff in by Monday at 5 p.m. We should get our package distributed by Wednesday at 5 p.m. Last time, or this particular meeting, we got our packets emailed to us like a Friday at like 5:58 p.m. and that's what we were trying to avoid. So this is
I will say, one of the issues was that Thursday night was the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and they had already published in the newspaper quite some time ago the public hearings for this evening, so that was part of the problem for this week. Other than that, though, really, it's whether or not, between now and Monday, I have ordinances done that you guys have come up with tonight.
Mhm.
So it's me. But for example, on the ordinance we didn't have done, I got it to Councilmember Jones and said, well, if we're not ready, we'll put it on the agenda just as a discussion, and we'll put it on the agenda after that. So there's not a lot of backup materials that I think you guys are putting into the packet, is there?
No, man, so
It's
that's what I'm
just
saying,
mine.
so if we could just, but we don't necessarily need all of, like, I guess, we could receive that sporadically, like, the backup information, but the agenda for us to look forward to at least what we're gonna discuss.
But she can't put it on the agenda under the ordinance unless she has the backup
See?
material by that Monday. So
Keep-
that's
keep-
kind of a,
Keep in mind, council, you pushed back 2 days when you wanted, but you didn't push back 2 days for your submission. So 5 o'clock Monday, that gives Tuesday and Wednesday. So if Ms. Bynum is out on a medical, no, hold on, I haven't asked the question yet. If Ms. Bynum is out, or Ms. Cortez is out, or Ms. Hayes is out, all of which has happened, and along with everything else that we're doing in the city, you could, and it's probably a good thing, because it's okay to have a much shorter agenda, so that part won't be a bad thing. But keep in mind, if you give something on Monday at 5 o'clock, then it's gotta get to council, who's not sitting around idle either. They've, got other things to do. So as long as we're not pushing for what you get on Monday to definitely be on the following Monday's agenda, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, but Mr. Mayor, that doesn't, the way that the process was originally, was worse, because we would submit our information on Wednesday by 5 for agenda to be made that same Friday. And so now we moved up the time for our submission to be Monday, within the same time period in which was created for the agenda to be done by that Wednesday, just for us to be able to look at, to make adequate decisions.
No, I think it's a good concept. I just want to make sure you know that we're busier here than back when you all initially did it. I mean, there's a lot going on in the office, a lot of phone calls, a lot of people coming in, and I just want to, again, put that out there, but we'll shoot to you what council has requested. Yes, Councilman Randall.
You gotta hold it with me.
What's next on the,
Discuss and take action on call to action. It should say abandoned properties on Elford Street. So what I would ask is that, code enforcement, notice procedure on condemnation and tear down being for abandoned, corridor on Elford Street.
There's a process.
now this is the code enforcement officer that y'all just said earlier is out in the street a bit, but Officer Eagleton, if you would check on that and with it being your issue, if you don't mind, if you wanna just kinda make sure that follows, because code enforcement has been an issue that I have not had time to put the time on it that needs to happen, because I agree with what you're trying to do, totally.
So I'll give it to you off to the end, off the way.
No, absolutely, that's perfect, we appreciate it.
Okay, I had one more comment, and that was on item number 30 on Apple Street.
Go ahead.
The other day, I was, out riding about, and I saw the police cars and everybody going over on Apple, so I followed them to see what they were doing when we got over there. I don't know who lives in these they're duplex apartments, and the water pipes were leaking on the outside, creating like a pond with mosquitoes and everything on it. And the pipes were exposed, they weren't covered up like they were supposed to. And I walked around the back of the house, and they had pipes coming out of the house that, looked like an animal could go through. I took pictures of it if you all want to see it, but the thing that really hurt me is human beings were living inside. I thought they were abandoned, properties. But the lady came out and, one house, and a man came out, I said, do y'all live there? They said, yes ma'am, we live here. I mean, where the pipes were coming out of the house, there were big holes around it, like I could have walked through the hole. And so,
Let's do this,
Give it to
because
USW.
I was there. Ms. Bynum, if you could add, putting that, I think it's 200 Eccles, commonly known as the Richard Apartments, on next agenda, if you could get those pictures to her, and Officer Eagleton, you can give us an update on that travesty that we witnessed last week, where it's at from a code enforcement standpoint. So that, because what was interesting about that was the email came from what sounded like the new owner, Barry Coles, that he wanted this, whatever, but to document what it is, and we'll follow up, because it's a health hazard.
Well, in the meantime, is that a USW issue? Is it like water and sewer pipes coming out of the house, like that one house
Actually,
we were
Mr.
at?
Jonathan, you were there, right? Didn't you
Yes,
join
sir, I
us?
was.
oh, yeah,
Okay.
you were there, yeah.
That was the part we had suspect with. Yeah, but you did a report on that,
I
didn't you?
did, yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll make sure you add that, your report, and update us on the agenda from your standpoint, as well as the code enforcement, what's happening to eradicate it and make it go away. Yes, sir. Councilman Randall?
If it's a code enforcement issue, isn't that a legal issue? Code enforcement?
It depends on what the issue is.
Right.
It may be an issue that can be cited through Officer White. It may come through reports from USW or Bureau of Veritas. I mean, I don't know what the pipes are. I don't know what the issue is. So it sounds like it's in the works. Is it up your alley? Is it USW? It is, okay, yeah. So it would go through USW for that complaint. A lot of those are like TCEQ requirements
I'm just
and,
trying to figure out what action, never mind.
But let me also add this, this was the beginning of the week I went, and I went by there today because they were, I think Officer White was saying that they have to have 72 hours or something to fix the problem.
Right, you have
And
to-
I went by there today, again today, and it was exactly like it was when I was over there, the first time. And like I said, human beings live there.
I'm sorry. I think it's 2 Richard Apartments.
Did you
200 Eccles Street, I believe it is.
It's actually 10 days. It's actually
No, not if it's a health hazard.
No.
And that water was mosquito holding, it is not 10 days.
I'm setting my.
Under the health hazard sanitary thing, that's the ordinance that this should be. Because these water pipes, wires were all over the place, that's a safety issue. Ain't no 10 days in there. We need stuff moving. There's 2 sections. One is regular and one is health and safety, which is as much as $2,000 a day. Let's read up and move on that. People are living there, and now it's brought to our attention, we can't sit by and somebody gets electrocuted because wires are all over the place and water's all over the place. No, we need to do better.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me to do that.
Sure.
Item 31.
Is that mine? Take it off.
Item 31, take it off. Okay.
Motion to
Motion?
adjourn.
Hey, second. I'll say amen.
Done.
I did have some